Welcome to Ajaxar Academy YouTube channel. In this session, I am going to discuss electric charges and fields. In this Gauss law. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel. Please share your valuable comments in the comment section. Okay, let us go to the today's session. Gauss theorem. Let us discuss. Now, statement: the total electric flux through any closed surface is equals to 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge enclosed by that surface. So, this is the statement of Gauss law. The total electric flux through any closed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times of the net charge enclosed by that surface, where epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space. If a closed surface S encloses charge Q, then according to Gauss theorem, phi is equals to 1 by epsilon naught into Q. So, that is phi is equals to Q by epsilon naught. By the definition, total electric flux through the closed surface S is given by flux phi is equals to integration of E dot ds, linear integral of E dot ds. Now, Gauss law proof. Let us discuss proof of Gauss law. Consider a point charge Q inside a closed surface A as shown in the figure. Here we are taking a point charge Q which is inside a closed surface A. Imagine a sphere B of small radius r with charge Q at the center of the sphere. Electric field at any point on the surface of sphere B is given by E is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square. This is equation number 1. Consider an element of an area ds on the surface of sphere B. Here we are taking the small area in the surface of sphere B, that is ds. Flux through the element, that is ds. So, we are considering an element of an area ds on the surface of sphere B. Flux through the element is ds. So, that is d phi is equals to E dot ds. This is equation number 2. See, this is a point charge Q which is inside the closed surface. This is closed surface A. Here we are taking this small radius r with the charge Q. ds is the small area of the surface sphere. Flux through the element ds, that is, now dq is equals to E bar dot E dot ds. Consider this as equation number 2. Substituting 1 in 2. So, then we will get d phi is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square into ds. Total flux through the sphere is integration of d phi is equals to integration of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square into ds. So, now we are integrating integration of d phi. This 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square is a constant. So, integration of ds, yes. So, that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square into 4 pi R square. This is 4 pi gets cancels. Now, here r gets cancels. Next, we are getting phi is equals to Q by epsilon naught. Now discuss uses. Let us discuss. Simplifying electric field calculation where there is a symmetry in charge distribution, and it is used to find total flux associated with the closure surface, and by applying Gauss law we can easily find out the electric intensity due to various kinds of charge distribution. Now let us discuss MCQs. In Gauss theorem, the total electric flux over a closed surface is equals to 0, 1 by epsilon naught times the charge enclosed with the surface, product of enclosed charges, none of the above. See, in Gauss theorem, the total electric flux over a closed surface is equals to 1 by epsilon naught times the charge enclosed with the surface. So, second option is correct. Now, application of Gauss theorem. Let us discuss. Application of Gauss law. For some symmetric charge configurations, however, it is possible to obtain the electric field in a simple way using the Gauss law. Field due to an infinitely long straight uniformly charged wire. Here we are taking long straight uniformly charged wire. So consider an infinitely long thin straight wire with a uniform linear charge density lambda. Here this is the long straight uniformly charged wire. So this wire is obviously an axis of symmetry. Observe this picture. The point P, P dash, P double dash, so obtained are completely equivalent with respect to the charge wire. So this implies that the electric field must have the same magnitude at these points. So the direction of electric field at every point must be radial, outward if lambda is greater than 0, inward if lambda is less than 0. So consider a pair of line elements P1 and P2 of the wire as shown. Here P1 and P2. We are taking the pair of elements. In the electric field is everywhere radial in the plane cutting the wire normally, and its magnitude depends only on the radial distance r. So to calculate the field, imagine a cylindrical Gaussian surface as shown below. This is the cylindrical Gaussian surface of length L and radius is r. So since the field is everywhere, radial flux through the two flat surfaces of the cylindrical Gaussian surface is 0. So at the cylindrical part of the surface, E is normal to the surface at every point, and it is parallel to any area vector on the curved surface. So flux is not 0. Here flux is not 0. Why? Because E is normal to the surface at every point. See here, E is normal to the surface. So it is parallel to any area vector on the curved surface. So flux is not 0. Okay. So the surface area of the curved part is 2 pi RL, where L is the length of the cylinder. Okay. So surface area of the curved part is 2 pi RL, where L is the length of the cylinder. Flux through the Gaussian surface is equals to flux through the curved cylindrical part of the surface. So that is E into 2 pi RL. So that is equals to the curved surface enclosed a net charge Q is equals to lambda into L, where lambda is the linear charge density. So then Gauss's law then gives E into 2 pi RL is equals to lambda L by epsilon naught. So E that is equals to can be written as, here taking cross multiplication, lambda by 2 pi epsilon into r. Here L gets cancels. So E is equals to lambda by 2 pi epsilon into r. So vectorially it can be written as E at any point is given by E is equals to lambda by 2 pi epsilon r into n cap, where n cap is the radial unit vector normal to the wire passing through the point. E is directed outward if lambda is positive and inward if lambda is negative. It can be negative or positive. Now, it also note that the charge enclosed by surface lambda L was included above. So, the electric field is due to the charge on the entire wire. So, further the assumption that the wire is infinitely long is crucial. Without this assumption, we can take E to be normal to the curved part of the cylindrical Gaussian surface. Now, the electric field intensity at a point due to line charge distribution at a distance r is directly proportional to 1 by r square, 1 by r square. So, here 1 by r. Charge distribution at a distance r is directly proportional to nothing but electric field intensity at a point due to the line charge distribution at a distance r is directly proportional to 1 by r. A long wire carries a charge of 2 × 10 to the power of minus 8 centimeters. Find the electric field at a distance of 0.2 meters from it. That is 1800 volt per meter, 1850 volt per meter, 2000 volt per meter and 1750 volt per meter. So, here first option is correct. Let us discuss the solution. Here the given lambda is equals to 2 × 10 to the power of minus 8 centimeters and r they given as 0.2 meters. From this we are calculating electric field E is equals to lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r. Substituting values, E is equals to here 2 lambda by 4 pi epsilon naught r. So, E is equals to 9 into 10 to the power of 9 into 2 into 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8 by 0.2. Now, we are getting here 0.2 nothing but 2 by 10 here. So, 2 gets cancels. At last finally we are getting 1800 volt per meter. So, first option is correct. Now, we will discuss electric field due to a uniformly charged infinite plane sheet. Electric field due to a uniformly charged infinite plane sheet. Let us discuss. Let sigma be the uniform surface charge density of an infinite plane sheet. We take the x-axis normal to the given plane. By symmetry, the electric field will not depend on y and z coordinates and its direction. So, we can take the Gaussian surface to be a rectangular parallelepiped of cross section area as shown. So, a cylindrical surface will also do. So, as seen from the figure, only the two faces 1 and 2 will contribute to the flux. Electric field lines are parallel to the other faces and they therefore do not contribute to the total flux. Okay. So, the unit vector normal to surface 1 is in negative x direction, while the unit vector normal to surface 2 is in the positive x direction. So, therefore, the flux E dot delta S through the both surfaces are equal and added up. So, therefore, the net flux through the Gaussian surface is 2 EA. So, the charge enclosed by the closed surface is sigma A. Observe this figure. See this surface charge density sigma. Therefore, by the Gauss law, 2EA is equal to sigma A by epsilon naught, or E is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. So, vectorially it can be written as E is equals to sigma by 2 epsilon naught n cap. So, where n cap is the unit vector normal to the plane sheet and in outward direction. So, E is directed away from the plate if sigma is positive and toward the plate if sigma is negative. From the above cases, it is clear that E is independent of x, that is distance from the plane sheet. So, for a finite large planar sheet is approximately true in the middle regions of the planar sheet away from the ends. Now, let us discuss MCQs. Electric field intensity at a point due to uniformly charged infinite plane sheet is directly proportional to the distance of the point from the plane sheet, inversely proportional to the distance of the point from the plane sheet, independent of the distance of the point from the plane sheet, directly proportional to the square of the distance of the point from the plane sheet. So, this electric field intensity at a point due to uniformly charged infinite plane sheet is independent of the distance of the point from the plane sheet. For a uniformly charged plane sheet, the electric intensity at a point is sigma by 2 epsilon naught, sigma square by 2 epsilon naught, 2 epsilon by sigma, none of this. Here sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Now we will discuss electric field due to a charged spherical shell. Electric field due to a charged spherical shell. First one, consider a spherical shell of radius r and a charge q. Let us find the electric field at a point P at a distance r from the center O of the shell. So, surface charge density sigma is equals to q by 4 pi r square. So, from this q is equals to 4 pi r square into sigma. First case, when P is outside the shell. See, observe this diagram. Here we are taking this a point P which is outside the shell. Here is proportional to q by r square. Total surface charge, this is the dotted lines represents the Gaussian surface, E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. Variation of E with r for a spherical shell of charge. Consider a sphere Gaussian surface of radius r. The total flux through the surface is given by phi is equals to E integral line integral ds, that is equals to E of 4 pi r square. So, E into 4 pi r square is equals to 1 by epsilon naught into q. So, that is q by epsilon naught. So, E is equals to, from this equation can be written as 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. Second case, when the point P is on the surface, that is r is equals to r. Consider a spherical Gaussian surface of radius r. The total flux through the surface is given by E of 4 pi r square is equals to q by epsilon naught. So, E is equals to q by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square. So, E is equals to sigma by epsilon naught. Sigma is equals to q by A nothing but 4 pi r square. So, sigma is equals to q by 4 pi r square. So, now last one, when P is inside the shell, that is r is less than r. So, consider a spherical Gaussian surface of radius r where r is less than r. In this case, Gaussian surface does not enclose any charge and hence according to Gauss law, here this is the Gaussian surface and here we are taking the r when P is inside the shell. See here r is less than r. positive charge. Here this is Q dash. Field inside a spherical shell is 0. So E is equals to 4 pi r square is equals to here, that is here field inside the spherical shell is 0. So 0 by epsilon naught. So Q is equals to here 0. So therefore E is equals to 0. Now let us discuss MCQs. The total electric flux through a Gaussian surface when point P is inside the spherical shell is given by E is equals to 0 and sigma by epsilon naught, Q by epsilon naught. See, this is 0. So total electric flux through a Gaussian surface when point P is inside the spherical shell is given by E is equals to 0. First option is correct. Next, the total flux density through the surface when the point P is on the surface R is equals to R is given by 0 sigma Q by epsilon naught, sigma by epsilon naught. So this sigma by epsilon naught. Okay. So the total flux density through the surface when the point P is on the surface, within bracket here they given the condition R is equals to R. So that is given by sigma by epsilon naught. So fourth option is correct. Thanks for watching this video.